Hello guys, welcome back to Comic Book Cafe. Today we're talking about reviewing International Iron Man issue number 1. First things first, the main catch, the main thing in the book of this story is basically Tony Stark has found out that his parents are not his biological parents, his birth parents. And so he wants to find them. Now I'll say this off the bat, I really don't care for this story. I don't see what you gain from this character by changing who his parents, biological parents were. What arc are you going to go down? Ultimately with this, like who is his parents going to be? What really, does that really change the character and what we know? Is it really for the better kind of thing? Again, maybe it's one of those things where he's still, through this journey, he finds out he loves his parents, who weren't his parents more. But it kind of changes Tony's as a character drastically, and I don't, again, I'm kind of iffy on it, but this issue more deals with his past. Enough about talking about how I feel about, changing his parents, but this issue's changing about his past. So it starts off with him at the monument of the Soviet army, with a bunch of armored people around him, big armored robot people, and, they're all wondering if he's still alive. He's just lying there because they can't read any vitals. One of them says, well, he's not, it's, Stark, you're not going to be able to read his vitals. And one of them says maybe he's, looking back and regretting things he's done in the past. And so then we see Tony go back in his mind 20 years, back when he's in college. Young guy. And he's at this party, or this place, with a bunch of people, and he ends up meeting this girl with his bodyguards and everything. And they end up ditching the bodyguards. And they end up talking. And he doesn't know her name or anything like that. And, talking, and she knows who he is, and basically says, our families kind of wouldn't get along. They're opposition with each other. I'm not sure if our families would get along, and, kind of thing. But ultimately, her bodyguards find him. And she basically tells him to run or they're going to zap him. He says, I don't know what that feels like. And so he gets zapped. Because he doesn't know what it feels like, so he gets zapped for her. And it's very, the way she acts, he's like, it was worth it to get zapped. So he got what he wanted, a reaction from her from that. And then later we see him, like they're at school, and she sees him, and they're talking. And he basically asks her to marry him. Like, I asked her to marry him. She goes, that's pretty forward. And, she's like, or she says, I'm going to ask you pretty forward. He goes, I just asked you to marry me 5 minutes ago. What could be more forward than that? And she basically says to meet my family. And so he ultimately agrees to do that, to meet her family. And so he finds out, oh, by the way, her name is Cassandra Gillespie? I think I'm pronouncing it right. Gillispie. Anyway, meets her family. Everything goes swell at the dinner, and her mommy tells him when they're getting ready to leave, come visit our place. You need to stay in that, drudgy, place that you're at right now. They really like him. And as they're getting ready to leave, all of a sudden a car pulls up, and they say, Hail Hydra. They start gunning down the car. They start gunning at him. And ultimately, one of the Hydra guys, gets a gun right in front of Cassandra's mother's face, and all of a sudden you hear gunshots, and Tony picked up a gun and shot him. Saved her mother's life. And then you hear Hydra say, one of the Hydra guys say, basically that during all this, that basically, you guys, you no longer loyal to the cause of Hydra. You're selling weapons to our oppressors, and so okay, they were part of Hydra, or they were Hydra. Now Hydra wants to kill them because they sold stuff to people who were not them, that were not their allies. That completely open for interpretation. Who that could be. So then another guy jumps over. Hail Hydra is going to shoot Tony, and then Cassandra shoots that guy. And then Tony basically you see him kind of black out in the mirrors. You don't know if he blacks out or whether he's just coming back to current time. And then you see Tony say, I won't fight you. And there's Cassandra today. She got a patch over her eye on him, and she goes, I don't want to fight you either, but I'm not going to let you stand in the way of what's mine. I've done that once before. Meaning something happened where she stood in the way, gave up something for him, and what is hers. And that's all we really know at this issue. Again, it was more of a past thing with Tony. Setting up the past with him and Cassandra to go forward with the story about them and this situation. That's what the setup was. It was actually, I always do this with every book about reviewing it. Could you read this book and not have read Iron Man before? Or just seen the movies? The answer is yes. There's nothing in, like, this comic was more about his past, a little bit what's presently going on, so you kind of can move forward. You kind of can connect a little bit with this character if you haven't read the book before. But if you have read the book before, it's a story setting up the past, like adding more to Tony's past. Which again, here's the problem with these books, and I always had this for, and I understand this is the like slightly newer Marvel Universe, so old stories still count, but they can tweak things in a way where things don't count. That's kind of an in-between thing, where like DC went full reboot, Marvel went, the past still counts, or a lot of the past still counts in these books, but we can still tweak things in the past. So, being that, if they didn't drastically change Tony's past, Tony was never really met Hydra in the past, so this kind of changes things. So I guess this is them going forward with their new past to Tony, because they're doing the thing to give him new, well, you think they're going to give him new birth parents. We'll have to see where it ultimately goes in this book. Maybe they don't. Who knows? But that is the gimmick for Tony. I call it a gimmick because I don't really know where the story ultimately goes. Like, some of these stories you have to wait to play out and say that was good or that was a bad choice. But this book was pretty good if you want to get more of his past, like this, I guess, unfilled past to Tony, and, you know, meeting this girl Cassandra and everything. So again, great thing is adding new characters into his life, and that's always a good thing. So anyway, again, it was not a bad book. Just, this is the past. You don't know you really don't know this character. At least not the time I read Iron Man. I don't know this character, and there you go. Wasn't no real big bad enemy. It just was a past book. Anyway, decent book. If you're looking for a decent book to read, maybe you want to try something new. This might and get a first issue. This might be it. Anyway, what do you guys think of this book? Did you like it? Not like it? Are you liking or not liking the fact that now they say he has different birth parents? Do you like that or don't like that? Anyway, let you guys' opinions like always. I'll do another review soon. Later, guys.